Everybody good? Can we start? Brad, you ready to start?
Yes, we are ready to start when you are. Coach Neu will open up with a statement.
Yeah, obviously, we're 1-0. Obviously, that's the most important thing at the end of the night. But certainly, we have a lot of things that we need to clean up. We didn't play a great first half. I think we put the defense in a bad position there in the first half. I think, Western possessed the ball for almost 20 minutes there in the first half, and we couldn't really get anything going. We had the one drive there with the touchdown, but after that, we never got in sync, didn't really get anything going. They tried to challenge us at the line of scrimmage. They were trying to put a lot of hats near the line of scrimmage to really challenge us and, play one-on-one there on the perimeter. So not our best first half of football, but proud of the way we came back out in the second half, and we established the line of scrimmage. Did a great job of controlling and the clock really there in the second half. And, we won, but we have a lot of things that we need to work on, a lot of things that we need to clean up. And in a lot of ways, maybe the best thing that could happen to us, maybe a little bit of a slice of humble pie, but yet still get a win. And really, Western Illinois is a good football team. They've got some talent. You could see that in the spring season when they played. They play hard and they play physical, and they're going to keep competing. And so, I said that to Coach Elliott there at the end of the game, and you have to give them credit. They got some playmakers on their football team, and it's good to get a win. And obviously, we had a couple extra days here as we shift our focus to Penn State, but a lot of things that we need to clean up.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. Ian, we'll give you the first one.
Yeah, so there were a lot of firsts in this game, such as Steele getting his first touchdown, Chinook first field goal, Woodard first sack, and Jones first interceptions. How nice is it to see contributions from younger guys in important situations?
Yeah, that's something that's very important because when you play a season the way you do in football, injuries are going to happen, and you work really hard in the offseason. Young players work really hard in the weight room. They work really hard on the practice field, and it's good to see those guys capitalize when they got some snaps in the game. And we're fortunate to have good depth here, and to see some of those guys step up and deliver. Each of them in different situations and critical moments. It's good to see that out of those guys.
Next question, we'll go with Brad Brown.
Hey, Coach. We've seen what Carson Steele can do over the last couple of years, and he came to fruition with a couple of great runs tonight. What has he shown you during camp that has him in the position that he's in right now?
Yeah, when Carson showed up, obviously he was a winner in high school, come from a great program at Center Grove. He was Mr. Football in the state of Indiana. And when he showed up here, he knew how to practice. That's a credit to Coach Moore, to the Center Grove program. He knew how to practice, and he was physically ready to go. He put up some very impressive numbers in the weight room once he arrived here on campus. And then quickly, I think he showed and earned the respect of his teammates on the practice field with how hard he was running. It's hard to go live all the time in training camp, but the live situations that we did have, Carson showed up every day. And so he's a great kid. He's super hard worker. He's one of those guys that, I knew, once he got his opportunities tonight, I knew he was going to run hard. It was good to see him break a couple, and it was good to see the guys up front on the offensive line, give him some holes there to run through. And so we just got to keep going. Obviously the first thing he, said, when the ball game was over, it was on him, and he was disappointed about the fumble. But, when you're a young player, that's the one thing they do is circle that on the depth chart, and they're going to make sure that your ball security is where it needs to be.
And my follow-up real quick, did it feel like that first half tonight, your guys just needed to get a couple quarters just to get out there and get at it, and it was after halftime that they really started to find it?
In a lot of ways, and I challenged our guys about 1 week ago when we first set out the process, you can't play the game back on your heels. You can't play not to lose. You got to be the aggressor. You got to have that same mindset when you're at the bottom, the way you fight, scratch, and claw. And so, in some ways we came out, I think everybody was ready to go, but until the ball's kicked off and it's actually a real football game. How are we going to settle into that? So great thing is mature team. Nobody panicked ever on the sideline. It was in complete control. Guys did a great job that way. But it wasn't our best first half of football, but we regrouped at halftime. We came back out, played better in the second half. But certainly a lot of things that we need to work on and clean up.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. Next question, we'll go with Robbie.
Hey, Coach. It seems like in that second half, you guys came out and made a concerted effort to kind of run the ball. I mean, how big is establishing your guys' running game to get the ball in the hands of guys like Yo Hines and Justin and Jay Sean outside?
Yeah, it's big time. The first half, I look at myself first. I didn't do a good job in the first half, to be honest with you. And I didn't commit enough. I didn't get the line of scrimmage established enough with our guys up front because we got an awful good group of guys on the offensive line. So at halftime, obviously we talked in there and we were going to go to a little bit heavier sets, play with 12 personnel and 21 personnel, and then just 2 receivers in the game. And we wanted to make sure we established the line of scrimmage and showed our physicality. And it was great to grind out a drive there to open up the second half. I think that really set the tone, and that was really important for us.
And then a quick follow-up too. Brandon Martin kind of came out of the game there, so I hit ice on his knee. You guys have any update on him at this point?
Yeah, no, just going to get him looked at tomorrow. We'll get get an exam on him tomorrow and just kind of see where that goes. I'm not 100% sure, other than knowing it was a knee and knowing that he was not going to be able to return. So we'll just have to see, what kind of information we can get tomorrow on him.
Thanks, Robbie. We'll start with Ian for the next one, and then we'll move to Charleston.
Yeah, kind of a follow-up on guys like Jones and Woodard. Can you kind of talk about the potential you see that in them, and what you've seen so far in practices and training camp?
Yeah, Tavion's one of those guys. Even when he was going on the scout team early in his career, very quickly you notice his length. He's got long arms. He's got really good length. He's tough to handle. When our offensive line are going against him back in the day on scout team, he always showed up. And so as he's gotten stronger in the weight room, as he's really developed his body and become a smarter football player, I'm not surprised because we see that, from Tavion day in, day out in training camp. Anytime we have one-on-one matchups in practice with the O-line, D-line, he does a good job and he's tough. So to see him have that kind of night, I was proud of him because he, he's worked hard to get himself in that position. And Nic Jones is a talented guy, man. He's got great skills. He's got great change of direction, great speed, great corner skills. And so it's good to see him make a play in a critical situation there towards the end of the game.
Hey, Coach. Could you just touch on how nice it was to have a full stadium back for the first time since 2019, and just kind of how the team kind of benefited from, that fan energy that you guys were missing last season?
I'm telling you, just all day long, being around the facility this morning, then took a little bit of a couple-hour break here to get away and then came back early afternoon just to see the band warming up, going through their routine. Just to see all the tailgating areas, all the food trucks set up outside. A couple of those food trucks I almost stopped at, but it's so cool to see that. And then as people are walking into the stadium and just to get that vibe and the energy, I want that so much for our players because I know how hard they've worked, and that would mean more to them than anything to have fans in the stands, to have a full house here at Schumann Stadium. There's nothing better than playing when you have people and there's energy and there's buzz like that. So it was so awesome to see college football kind of get back to some normalcy there.
We'll go to Robbie for one more question with Coach.
Yeah, I guess the last thing defensively, obviously Houston had a big game out wide. What are you taking away defensively and just the way that Western was kind of able to throw against you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that was the strength of their offense coming into the game. They threw for, over 290 yards a game, this past spring season. And Dennis Houston's a good football player, man. And he's one of those guys that, he made several big catches throughout the night. He delivered when his number was called. And so we definitely got things that we need to continue to clean up and work on. And we got to challenge our guys. We got to make sure that, you're going against somebody else for the first time. They've maybe gotten, tired of going against us, seeing the same thing from practice, seeing the same thing from the spring, seeing the same body. So going against somebody else, like we did tonight is a good thing, but yet it also lets us take a step back and know we got a lot of things that we need to work on. Certainly they challenged us, from a passing game standpoint tonight with the weapons they had.
All right, Coach Neu, thanks for joining us tonight, and congrats on the win.
Okay, thank you guys.
We'll now be joined by some Ball State players. We've got Drew Plitt, Justin Hall, Tavion Woodard, and Nic Jones joining us.
Recording in progress.
Hey, so my question is kind of about Carson Steele. He had an explosive touchdown, his first touchdown. What do you see in him that you think could make him special?
Yeah, Carson's a great athlete, runs the ball hard, downhill runner. So, I mean, I think he's a great addition. We talk about the depth of our team all the time, and I think he's a great addition to that. He's young, so there's still a lot to learn. But like you said, I mean, he's downhill runner, and he runs hard. So his first touchdown tonight is awesome to see for him, and long season. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more of him. But along with that, Donnie and Will played a great game. So just great running back group all around.
Move over to Robbie.
Yeah, Drew, it seems like in the second half, you guys kind of came out and ran the ball, which, I mean, ended up opening up things for the wide receivers. I mean, how important is it for you guys to kind of get that running game going so you can be sort of dynamic and get some of those talented receivers the ball on the outside?
Yeah, Coach Lynch talks about a balanced offense, and that's all part of it. Early on they were giving us a lot of downhill looks, a lot of cover zero. So for us, it was we were getting beat up. So trying to establish the run, that way you could open up some things in the passing game. And that's just part of being a balanced offense, being able to make those plays. It really goes hand in hand. So when we're running the ball well, we're going to throw the ball well, and vice versa. It just goes hand in hand. That's how a balanced offense works.
Yeah. And then in the first half, obviously not probably the start that you guys wanted. I mean, what did you take away from that first half, and what was said kind of in the locker room to kind of get things rolling in the second?
Really tough start, just for us, not really moving the ball, not getting in a rhythm. Defense really held their own in the first half. They had our backs. We didn't put them in the best situation. So they played great all around. And when we were in the locker room, we kind of just, we had a little discussion. We knew that we were better than that, knew that we were better than the team on the other side of the field. And we just went out there, established the run, let our passing game take care of itself, and just played hard-nosed football.
All right, we'll move over to Charleston now.
Hey, Drew. When the pockets collapses and things kind of start to fall apart, the defensive line kind of gets back to you and you have to escape the pocket. How does your chemistry and kind of connection with Justin Hall help you kind of see the field and connect with him for 2 touchdowns tonight?
Yeah, I mean, just being a quarterback, you got to know where Justin Hall's at. You got to know where Johan Tyler and Jay Sean Jackson are at, because they're going to be your playmakers. Get them the ball in space, and they're going to make a play. And that's really my job as a quarterback, whether I'm in the pocket or out of it. So really a lot of times when I escape, I'm looking for them. If they're not there, I'm probably throwing away or getting a couple yards and going down. Because, they're just athletes. They know how to make a play, and me doing my job trying to get them the ball. That's how it goes.
All right, anybody have any other questions for Drew? All right, Drew, thank you for joining us, and congrats on the win.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Next, we'll be joined by Tavion Woodard.
At the end of the first half. Well, when it cut, yeah.
You good. It was just a crazy moment, you know. The fans was, you know, loud, everything, you know. Just put my hand down, fired off the ball. It was just played fast, played hard. Thank my teammates because they was just saying keep going after them. So my teammates was just getting me activated and, you know, pushing me, telling me to stay with it. So yeah.
My apologies on the record button there, but we'll move on to Charleston.
Hey, Tavion. After having no fans in the stands last season, how much did you enjoy the atmosphere tonight, just seeing full house, and how did that kind of give you guys energy on the field?
I love the full house today. We need that every single week. We're at home, so just seeing the fans out there was just great. You know, hyped us up. Them cheering us on. You know, when we making plays on the field. So shout out the fans for, you know, coming out and supporting us today.
Next up, we have Robbie General.
I think I'm unmuted. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like the offense was kind of struggling there early on to get things going. I mean, how much as from a defensive side did you guys kind of take ownership of that situation, or especially at the end of that first half there, and want to step up and keep you guys in the game?
I felt like we were slow at first, but we picked up the pace a little bit. We knew we had to go attack and get things done on the field, and that's what we did. And we produced and we made efforts into doing that. So our coach just kept saying, "Keep going." You know, we need to get off the field. So we did whatever possible to get off the field, and I was just going to get the ball.
Any other questions for Tavion? All right, thank you for joining us today, and congrats on the win.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Brad, we good to go?
Yes, we're good to go. Next up, we've got Nic Jones. We will start with Ian.
Is that what?
So you got your first career interception, and what, you know, Tavion got his first career sacks. What does it mean for you guys in the defense to, you know, step up and have big plays in important moments like that?
It means everything, you know, because, you know, we know this year we're a more important part, I would say more of a contributor, you know, to the team. So they looking on us to fulfill our roles, and we just looking to do our job every week.
Charleston Boys.
Hey, Nick. They did a lot of screens, wide receiver screens, halfback screens, a lot of short to intermediate routes. How did you guys try to combat that, especially in the second half, when you guys kind of stopped them in their tracks? Just what was that mindset in stopping that during the second half?
Just staying disciplined, you know, disciplined with our eyes and our zones. You know, we knew they was gonna have to come out, you know, and try new things, try different things. You know, just trusting our instincts, what we saw on film, and everybody doing their job. Nothing really changed for us, just coming out doing our job.
And next up, Robbie General.
Yeah, I guess as far as Western's offense went, Houston obviously had a big night, and they had a good night passing. I mean, what are you guys as a secondary kind of taking away from this first game here?
You know, just taking our lumps. You know, it's gonna be something to correct, whether somebody has a good game or a bad game. You know, that don't really, you know, that's not something that motivates us. It motivates us to get a win. So, you know, we going back to the drawing board, seeing what we got hurt on, seeing what we can do better on.
Yes, I mean, just to start the season 1-0, maybe not the previous win, but I mean, what's the attitude like kind of moving into to next week? Obviously a hostile environment over at Penn State.
just being the best us. The goal is to go 1-0. Obviously, we wanted to have a better night than the one we had, but the goal is to get to 1-0. So, now we're gonna put our heads on the pillow, put that in the back of our mind, and use these next 9 days to prepare for, one of our biggest games of the season.
Nick, thank you for joining us, and congrats on the win.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
Two touchdowns on the night, 150 yards all purpose. How were you able to kind of get open in that secondary, and how special is that connection with Drew? Just him being able to find you, when things kind of collapse, break down.
That was a hard. That was a pretty good defense, better than we even expected. So I'm just glad that that it happened with them. And as far as me and Drew's chemistry is always going to be good. Drew's always being able to put the ball where we need it as a wideouts, and we just gotta come back next week. We just gotta get in these. We gotta get in the playbooks and get in the film room. We gotta get this going.
We'll move on to Robbie, Star Press.
Hey, Justin, yeah, probably not the best offensive start that you guys would have wanted there. What are you taking away just from the game overall, especially in that first half there when you guys kind of struggled a little bit?
We were struggling in the run game early. We got to establish that run, and coach keeps he keeps saying that, and he's absolutely right. We got to be able to establish the run, and then if we can't run the ball, we're gonna have to. If we can't run the ball, we're not gonna just be able to consistently just continue to pass the ball, because they're not even gonna stack the box anymore, So, did I answer your question?
Yeah. I guess, in terms of, since you mentioned the run game too, it seems like in the second half, you guys made a more concerted effort to run that ball, especially on that first drive. Just in terms of establishing that, what does that do for you guys as wideouts when, the defense is converging on the running game?
As wideouts, we're gonna block it up. The running backs, they share love, and they block for us, so we're gonna block our butts off of them. And Willie Jones and Carson still came in and just had a heck of a game. A young guy came in. Some guys stepped up. So I'm not just gonna. A win is a win. I'm pretty upset about it, but we just got to get back in the books, and our running game is gonna continue to. We're gonna continue to progress in that, and we're gonna put some more numbers up on the board.
We'll move on to Ian.
Yeah, speaking on the run, Carson Steele had
I think you muted yourself.
Ian, you got muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I was saying Carson Steele had a big game, had a big running touchdown. Can you kind of talk about the potential you see in him going forward?
Yeah, Carson, a big back, man. He's an every down back. He could be an every down back for us. I think he was Mr. Indiana out here. So I feel like he's gonna have a great career here at Ball State. And I can't wait to see him run that ball. He hits that hole so hard. It's like, and not only him, Will Jones, a veteran coming back. It's just a lot of guys in the backfield that's gonna make plays for us.
We'll go back to Robbie for another question.
I guess the last thing, just kind of circling back to what you said a few minutes ago about kind of being upset with this game. Why are you feeling that way at this point?
I feel like we came out flat. We scored first, but I feel like after that first touchdown we had, we already, I guess we already thought we had to win, and that they weren't going to come out and compete. And that's one thing we got to do, is compete at all times, no matter who our opponent is. Coach keeps saying that, and he's absolutely right again. So we just got to come back and get in the film room and make the adjustments and make the corrections that that we didn't execute well enough today.
What's it going to take for you guys to kind of come out stronger against considerably better Penn State team in about 10 days?
We just got to come out with that juice and swagger that we always had. I feel like we came out thinking this team was going to be, it's just some, we just thought they were going to be pushovers, and obviously they weren't. And I'm actually happy a little bit that they came and knocked us in our mouth, because that second half we came out like monsters, and we was running that ball up and down the field. So I just feel like if we come out every day with the same effort and the intensity that we came out with the second half of this football game, we'll be fine.
Any further questions for Justin? All right, Justin, thank you for joining us. And again, congrats on the big win today.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all.
All right, everyone. That wraps up today's press conference. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to doing it again in a couple of days or 10 days at Penn State.